Hey guys, and welcome to an updated Kuva farming video. I did a video on the Kuva farming a few weeks ago, however since then there's been a whole ton of new changes to the system. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at those Kuva farming changes and the changes to Riven mods, more specifically the Riven disposition. Since I did the last video on how to farm the Kuva, there's a few changes to the spawning mechanics. I want to clear something up. I said in the original video, I said they spawned on the Kuva fortress itself. That was the original intention, however that never worked. So it actually never made it in. Right now it doesn't spawn there at all. Where the Kuva extractors do spawn, however, is completely different to before. Instead of having a 30% chance of spawning on a level 25 or more Grineer planet, now with the fact that the Kuva fortress is constantly moving around, it will always border 2 or 3 different planets. On these planets a node will spawn with the Kuva symbol on it. You will have the option to play either the normal mission or launch into this new Kuva mission. There will be 6 nodes up at first, however there will be a cooldown on that node respawning once you've completed it. I've not managed to find out what the cooldown is, however from testing I've never actually been able to run them quick enough so that there's never a node available. So that is one thing to note. These nodes will also be random mission types, so make sure that you see what the mission is before you head in. It's also worth noting the enemy levels of the enemies that would normally be on the planet will also reflect the enemy level of the Kuva fortress. So that means you will have level 25 plus enemies on Earth, for example. So don't go into a mission thinking, it's only Earth, don't really pay attention, and then get shredded because you're not paying attention. The way that you deal with the Guardians is exactly the same as my previous video. Press 5 to go into Transcendence mode, hit E to stun them, dash through them to knock their Keshig out of their hands, press 5 to return to your frame, turn round and then kill the Guardian. I also got comments on a previous video saying that you can use the Void Blast attack, the E attack, to stop the Kuva from heading towards the extractor. Now, I'm not sure how true this is because personally I've never managed to pull it off. It's way more efficient just to do the Void Charge thing to stop the Kuva. Now, I've never failed to hit it like that, well apart from the times where I've missed it entirely, but I've never managed to pull it off with the Void Blast, so personally, unless you really know how to do it, and if it is a thing, I just genuinely wouldn't try. I just would use the Void Dash. It's so much easier and so much more reliable. It's actually a good thing, to be honest, that I held off on making this update video a little bit. And that's because in update 19.2 we got the addition of Kuva Flood missions. This mission is an extension of the new Kuva spawning and will be in addition to the normal 6 Kuva missions. The thing about this mission though is that you will get double the Kuva that you do from the standard mission. However, the enemies start at level 80. So this mission is going to be tough as the 3rd sortie mission. My advice for this, do it on a frame with invincibility, or run it with a friend or a group. The enemies, especially something like the Kuva Hayeka Masters and the Guardians, pretty much known for just one-shotting everything, so it just eases frustrations to simply go in with a team. It's tough, but the rewards are worth it. In addition to that, there's a bit of a change in the way you re-roll your Riven mods. Previously, you just rolled it, redid the test, and then hoped that RNG was kind to you. The change that came into the rolls was that you no longer had to repeat the test every single time you re-roll. Bit of a shame because I actually quite liked some of those challenges. The costs were made a little bit more linear. They're not quite as exponential as they used to be. And now you have the option of either keeping the roll that you had originally or accepting the re-roll. This is a huge change. Beforehand, if you had one stat you were trying to roll off because it sucked, you had to accept a whole new roll, whether it sucked really badly or not. Now you can see what's coming and refuse to accept it if you want. It's fantastic and something that really, really needed to happen. Now, there's another very large change that happened to the whole system, and that was the introduction of Riven dispositions. This is an area that caused a little bit of confusion as to what exactly this means, but it's not really that difficult, and honestly it doesn't really change that much. Basically, there are 3 dispositions in the game: strong, neutral and faint. These 3 things determine the effective strength of the Riven mod. This effective strength is what affects the percentages that will roll on the mod for that weapon. Basically, there's a multiplier that is applied to the 3 different strengths. For example, the Ignis you can see here. That has a faint disposition because of how strong the base weapon is. This means, for example, a multi-shot roll on the Ignis, on an Ignis Riven, is going to roll significantly lower than a Riven for the Hind, for example, because of how poor the weapon is compared, between the 2. And then you've got neutral disposition, and that's somewhere in the middle between the 2. Right now, there's actually no way of finding out what the disposition of the weapon is until you have a Riven for it, without going to the wiki, that is. Plus, you can't change the disposition at all, so it's something that you really need to know if your stats are lower than you expected on your mod, but there's actually not really anything you can do about it. All of these changes don't mean that I think things don't still have a little way to go to make this system much better. Primarily is the interaction with the operator that needs improving heavily. I have a feeling that when the focus rework happens, and it is coming, you are going to be upgrading the operator directly instead of these random abilities that you get now for your frame. The problem with these missions mainly is operator health. 100 health. Any enemy within 100 miles of you in the Kuva flood farting in your general direction is going to do more than 100 damage, especially if that unit happens to be a Kuva Hayeka Master spamming at you with their Ignis. This means that getting out the frame to intercept the Kuva can be ridiculously frustrating, especially since you effectively act as your own personal nullifier every time that you get out of your frame. Most abilities simply switch off as soon as you do, so even when you finish intercepting the Kuva, it's entirely possible you will simply get one-shotted getting back into the frame, as all your defensive abilities are now turned off. This becomes even more of a problem, especially in the Kuva Flood mission, where if you die as your operator, which let's face it isn't particularly difficult, your frame will lose all shields and all energy, which for any lighter frames that rely on crowd control or defensive abilities to live, is basically a death sentence unless you spam energy pizzas the instant you get back in your frame. If they could improve on these things though, I genuinely think this would be way less frustrating and a really fun game mode. I enjoy these missions. You've got random tiles, random enemies, random mission types that are a bit higher level, so you can play on, like Earth. I love the Earth tile set, and now I can play it with a higher level enemy. The variation is fantastic. It's so close to being such a good system. It just needs a couple of tweaks to just get there. I'd be interested to hear your opinions on this. What frames are you using to run the flood missions? Are you running them solo or in a group? Have you come up against a super high level boss yet? Yesterday, while recording, unfortunately I don't have the footage, but I fought a level 125 Kaled Thame yesterday. That was an experience, I guess. It wasn't particularly difficult, it just took a lot of time and a lot of ammo. So thank you all though for watching and supporting my channel so much recently. You can find some codes for some glyphs in the description below for all 3 platforms. Please don't take codes for platforms you're not on, they only work for that specific platform. So all you're going to do is use a code for a glyph you can't access. Feel free to tweet the pictures of the glyphs at me as well, I love seeing you all enjoying them. I'll be working out better ways to give them away in future, however for now a few in each video will be the plan. Many thanks for watching though guys, feel free to hit that like button and to sub if you like my content, and I shall see you in the next video.